your adult contemporary radio station in Zambia, connecting you to the newsmakers and events that make news in the global village.
Good evening, this is the 5FM Radio Main News, the headlines. Zambia marks a major industrial milestone with a $140 million investment in Mulungushi textiles. French ambassador pays Keresiko on mines permanent secretary in Lusaka. In Japan, suspends world's largest nuclear plant hours after restart. This bulletin is live on our Facebook page, 5FM Radio Zambia, and live also on our YouTube channel, 5FM Radio Zambia. With the details, my name is Lance Sannie. Zambia has reached a major milestone in its industrial development with a $140 million investment into the revival of Mulungushi textiles in Kabwe. The investment, which includes state-of-the-art machinery, modern equipment, and cotton outgrower systems, is expected to boost the textile industry and create over 500 direct jobs. Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry Principal Public Relations Officer, Ms. Evanes Nankala, says Mulungushi Textiles is a joint venture between Zambia and China, aimed at reviving the country's textile sector. She says the factory is currently undergoing a full rehabilitation with new machinery being installed under the $140 million project. Ms. Nankala adds that the ministry will soon invite members of the public to witness test runs of the plant before it is officially commissioned by President Hakainde Hichilema later this year. Government says the project demonstrates its commitment to industrialization, job creation, and economic growth. Once operational, Mulungushi Textiles is expected to reduce reliance on imports and contribute significantly to Zambia's economic development. The French ambassador to Zambia, Thomas Rosner, paid a Keresiko on the permanent Secretary of Mines and Minerals Development, Dr. Hapenga Kabeta, today, 22nd January, Zambia at the ministry's headquarters. The meeting aimed at cooperation between Zambia and France in the mining sector, on maximizing economic benefits for Zambia. Rosino expressed France's keen interest in partnering with Zambia to develop its mining sector, highlighting the country's rich mineral resources and strategic location in the region. Dr. Kabeta welcomed the offer, emphasizing Zambia's desire to process raw materials locally for value addition. The discussions highlighted several potential areas of collaboration, including sustainable mining practices, skills development, and infrastructure development. Ambassador Rosner expressed France's interest in supporting Zambia's efforts to increase local content in the mining sector, including training and capacity building for Zambian nationals. The meeting also touched on opportunities for French investment in Zambia's energy sector. Ambassador Rosner expressed interest in exploring opportunities in renewable energy, particularly solar and hydropower, which could support Zambia's mining sector and contribute to the country's energy security. Dr. Kabeta noted that Zambia is committed to increasing access to energy and welcomed French investment in this area. The permanent secretary emphasized Zambia's commitment to creating a conducive business environment, highlighting the country's stable political climate, abundant natural resources, and strategic location in the region. Dr. Kabeta also thanked the French government for its role in restructuring Zambia's debt, saying this had resulted in a surge in economic growth to 6.5% from a negative growth rate prior to the restructuring.
If you do the same thing over and over and expecting different results, I think it conveys a very awkward message, and we need to move away from that. So yeah, you are very welcome in Zambia, and from the president's perspective, I think we are forever grateful to the French government and the president of France for leading the debt restructuring journey successfully to a point where now I think we're almost at zero in terms of debt, and we have legroom. And with that effort, we were 2.8% negative growth.
Build It International Zambia, a UK and Zambia registered development charity, successfully hosted the second edition of the Women in Construction WIC conference under the theme Systems and Skills to Cite Diversity Builds Productivity. The National One-Day Conference reaffirmed the urgent need to move beyond policy commitments and skills training towards practical, measurable outcomes for women on construction sites across Zambia. The conference formed part of Build It International's flagship program, building a more gender diverse, skilled, and sustainable construction industry for 2024 to 2027, funded by the Government of Ireland. The program seeks to challenge entrenched gender norms, dismantle systematic barriers, and expand meaningful employment opportunities for women within one of Zambia's most economically significant sectors. The conference convened policymakers, industry leaders, statutory bodies, development partners, training institutions, employers, and young women in construction. Through keynote addresses, expert panel discussions, role model spotlights, a dedicated men talk dialogue on male allyship, and structured networking sessions, participants examined how inclusive systems can translate women's skills into sustained, productive employment. Representing the acting permanent secretary at the Ministry of Technology and Science, Naomi Teta Mashimba, Ms. Precious Lisulo, acting director of the Department of Vocational Education and Training, emphasized that the national conversation has shifted from aspiration to implementation. She stressed that productivity in the construction sector depends on functional systems that link training to certification, recruitment, workplace safety, accountability, retention, and career progression. In her address, Engineer Lucy Kasanga, board chairperson of Build It International Zambia, highlighted construction as a key driver of economic growth and job creation. She noted that women's low participation is not due to a lack of ability or ambition, but rather the result of systems that have historically limited access, safety, and opportunity. She underscored the importance of coordinated action across government, training institutions, industry, and communities to ensure skills translate into decent, dignified work. Project specialist Walia Mushiki presented findings from two foundational studies, the Gender Stakeholder Mapping and the Knowledge, Attitudes and Practices CAP Survey, validated in 2025. The research revealed that women remain significantly underrepresented across construction training and employment pathways, with cultural norms and stereotypes emerging as the most significant barriers. The Zambia Compulsory Standards Agency ZICSA and Zambia Agricultural Research Institute ZARI have called for enhanced collaboration with each other to support the agricultural sector with reliable fertilizer that will improve crop production. ZICSA and ZARI are seeking enhanced sharing of information and best practices to improve the safety and quality of fertilizer in Zambia. The two institutions intend to play a key role in supporting the achievement of the target of producing 10 million tons of maize by 2031 through effective regulation and testing of fertilizer. ZICSA Executive Director Gerard Chizinga and ZARI Director Ndashe Kapulu made the remarks in Chilanga on Wednesday when Mr. Chizinga paid a courtesy call on Dr. Kapalu. Mr. Chizinga said joint inspections, monitoring and capacity building will ensure that fertilizer on the market meets regulatory requirements. He said ZICSA and ZARI must closely work together to support farmers with reliable farming inputs that improve yields and incomes in line with government's policy objectives. He said ZICSA has proposed the signing of a cooperation framework and service level agreement to cover matters of mutual interest. Mr. Chizinga said ZICSA is committed to ensuring that farmers are not exposed to non-compliant fertilizers such as commodities could compromise crop yields, soil health, or human safety. Earlier, Dr. Kapulu said a signed cooperation framework and service level agreement will assist to facilitate trade speedily and ultimately achieve the broader objectives of the government. He noted the need to strengthen collaboration between the two institutions to ensure full compliance with quality and safety standards. Dr. Kapulu said ZARI oversees the Fertilizers and Feed Act of 1966, an old piece of legislation which is currently in the process of being repealed and replaced to make it relevant to current trends in the agriculture sector. He said ZICSA officers in all provincial centers and major border entry points have been very helpful in safeguarding farmers from substandard fertilizer. And in other news trending this evening, the Zambia Police Service has charged and arrested a 37-year-old Egyptian national of Lusaka for the offense of obtaining money by false pretenses. The City Council has intensified urgent cholera response measures in Munali constituency aimed at curbing the spread of the disease and protecting public health. Up next, the business news.
5FM Radio Business News. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry, local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Chipoka Mlenga has emphasized that the government consistently releases Constituency Development Fund (CDF) resources and that the responsibility for their utilization lies with local leadership. Speaking during a meeting with electorates in Luengwe ward of Lukasha constituency, Mr. Mlenga urged residents to hold their members of parliament and councillors accountable for funds meant to support development projects in their communities. He said that projects such as community schools, mini hospitals, maternity annexes, and the grading of rural roads entirely fall under the responsibility of local authorities who operate under the leadership of the mayor. The minister stated that it is unfair for local leaders to neglect their communities when the government releases funds on time to support citizens. He further stated that this year's constituency development, which will be increased to 40 million kwacha, must be properly utilized so that citizens can fully benefit.
akana okukula market nishimufulwa kweli kataka wacha ndako chemufulwa alaba nega sambile school ya mahala teine mupinde tumendalama te meyo le tumendalama te councilor le tumendalama mayo ni president umwe indala mesho wale pera ba MP efira kuno mule monati ba pera ma grant abantu akana okupera ma grant abantu pera maloni abantu akana okupera maloni abantu ale salura lele shapampumi mayo twensala yika tayila kwa hapa mpampumi pa weka chapata ya mwikate.
Meanwhile, a traditional leader from Luengwe ward has raised the absence of the area member of parliament and councillor, saying the situation is hindering development in the ward. Meanwhile, headman Clement Bwalia expressed sadness that despite the government releasing CDF to all constituencies, there has been little to no progress in Luangwe ward due to a lack of engagement by elected leaders who are expected to lobby for and supervise development projects. He cited Luangwe Primary School, which was earmarked for rehabilitation using CDF, noting that the school has remained in a dilapidated state for the past 5 years with no rehabilitation works undertaken to date. The traditional leader further appealed to the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry to urgently intervene in the matter to ensure that development in the ward is not further delayed. Ends the business news, and in foreign news, Japan has suspended operations at the world's largest nuclear power plant hours after its restart, its operator has said. Reactor number 6 restarted on Wednesday, a day later than planned due to an alarm malfunction, the first at the plant to be turned on since the 2011 Fukushima disaster. Japan shut down of its 54 reactors after a 9.0 magnitude earthquake triggered a meltdown at its Fukushima plant 15 years ago, causing one of the worst nuclear disasters in history. And in sports news, the Zambia Under-20 women national team is in the heat of preparation for the third round FIFA World Cup clashes against Uganda, to be staged on February 7 away in Kampala and in Ndola a week later. Coach Florence Mwila and her technical bench have been running the rule on the players as they shape up for the upcoming back-to-back challenges. Winner of 2 legs will qualify to the final round, where the battle to secure for the tournament ticket will be concluded. Zambia has never qualified for the Under-20 Women World Cup but looks set to make their debut with a host of blistering talents that have already appeared at the Under-17 FIFA World Cup. Up next, the weather report.
Class Econ Roofing Africa.
Class Econ Roofing, plot 17100 off Katanga Road, 150 meters from Mumbwa Road, Chinika Industrial Area, Lusaka. Class Econ Roofing. Class plus economy.
Class Econ. Class Econ Roofing Africa. Class Econ.
The evening is mainly cloudy, slightly windy and mild with isolated rain and occasional thunder. Ends our weather report, and that item brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, a recap of the stories that made